Hey guys, so I'm back. This is gonna be a little bit part two of the Muslim Islam journey. Yeah, Muslim journey, Islam journey. I don't know why I'm debating on that. That's so weird. Anyways, guys, yeah. So I'm Canadian. As you maybe a little recap, I'm Canadian. I speak French and English, so I do have that accent, and that's why maybe I'm not really good explaining it in English, and maybe so don't roast me, please. I might lack some terms of more, or like lack of terms or better words, but yeah, I'm just here to tell about my journey. It's my personal journey. Everybody has their own, and how they view things, and yeah, like I all I want to do is spread love, and if I can help somebody in their journey, that's my intentions, 100%. And it took a while to do those videos. I converted. It's been now, I'm losing track. Like I think I was so it's been like 4 years. And since the first like 6 months, I wanted to do a video of it and never did, because first I don't want to affect somebody negatively. I didn't want to hurt anybody. In that sense, that if somebody sees that and they do not agree or stuff like that, that's the last thing I want. I'm not perfect. I'm just here to really trying to help, and trying to help myself too. You know what I mean? Like I'm peeling back the layers through the years, and it makes me reflect, and I like that really much. So let's just dive into it before I take too much time again. So yeah, after converting, it was really good. I had the only stressor in that time, let's say, was my family. And I believe that a lot of people go through that. So let's start with my family. Like I previously said in the video, my family had roots into Christianism, because they were born in Quebec. If you know a little bit about geography, Quebec, Canada, in the past they were really Catholic. Was yeah, so it was really during the time of my parents, they were like only Catholic schools and stuff like that, let's say. And so they were born into it. My mom was even thinking of becoming a nun. I believe that's the right term in English, a nun. Like she didn't. I'm not exactly sure why, but it was just like life didn't happen that way. It just happened a different way. And so that's what I mean by roots. But when I like how I got raised, I wasn't Catholic, let's say. Never went to church again, or barely, like once every 4 years at Christmas time. I just say I never went to church because I never went with an open heart, open mind, in that sense. You know what I mean? I never did that. So when I announced that I was Muslim to my mom, again, in that time of research, at the time that I was talking to people, to that convert, sorry, about Islam, I didn't really tell my mom. I don't know, it's just not like that. We didn't really talk about it. Yeah, I don't think I was a little bit scared, let's say, to how to approach it, how to say it, because I didn't know how she would react. My mom. And so after converting, my mom kind of knew what was going on. I don't know how exactly, and maybe just, I don't know. That's another thing that I still do not to this day. Maybe I should ask her, but maybe it's just the vibe or how. But that's crazy. I would need to ask her that. But that's exactly what I say, peeling the onion sometimes. Because again, is it the light of Allah shining on me when I converted at first? Maybe I'm overthinking it. Anyways, because it wasn't necessarily defined. I wasn't necessarily praying loudly or anything like that. I was hiding I was hiding it. So anyways, and I only told her 2 weeks after converting that I am Muslim. How she took it, really weird, let's say. But well, but weird. Because she didn't really know how to or what to say. It's not like I was expecting something or like, oh, congratulations, I like party, woo. No, it was just odd after when we talked about it, like a little bit more afterwards. It was that in her head, she was Catholic. And so me becoming Muslim was kind of a slap in the face. But then after she realized that, yeah, like, we weren't Catholic. That's how I can explain it. It's really hard because it wasn't like, oh, get out of my house or anything like over the top reaction. It was really okay, really normal, let's say. Like, obviously, it's a bit of a shock. Because you don't really expect it, even though like she did expect it, but it was like, now it's reality type thing. But yeah, my mom was okay, just a little bit weird. Like I said, I had a sister. My sister never really cared because she went to the same high school as me. She knew a lot of Muslims. She knew like the religion a little bit more, I guess, more the people. My mom never really interacted with Muslims. It's not that she avoided it or anything. She just wasn't in that circle, or at work she never really interacted, or it was like that. Yeah, exactly. So she really didn't necessarily had a contact with them or anything, or any information. Maybe that, like, like that was a bit weird because like she didn't know what to expect. And I'll go to my dad right now before getting into that. My dad, I only told him last year, so I already forgot. I think it was 4 years at a Muslim. So I told him only after 3 years, and that was rough because my dad, I didn't know how he would react. He's okay with it, but again, it was totally a different dynamic because his background is totally different from my mom. And he has his reason to have a different baggage, let's say, different experiences. I don't want to get into it because that's not my things to say. But different baggage, different background. Again, my parents are divorced, so that's how I was able to keep that differently, let's say. Yeah, so anyways, that was hard on me because how can you be yourself around somebody that do not understand a big part or big like foundation of you? So that didn't necessarily negatively affect my dad's relationship, but always kept that awkward feeling because I could never talk to him about stuff or why I wasn't doing certain type of things, or so that the best way I can say is this: it paused the relationship between me and my dad. Is it the worst thing that happens in this world? No, but it was just something that was really odd, especially at my age, because like we all need father figures, like we all need. And at that maybe crucial time when I was like 19, 18, that I needed that father figure. And even growing up in that stage, I would have needed him. But because of that, I wasn't able to lean on him in that sense. The best thing I would say, if I would, I don't regret anything I would do. But again, it'd be have confidence, have faith. If it's a hard decision, or if it's a hard conversation to have, it's even more important to have it. Because I dragged it on for way too long because I didn't have the confidence. I was waiting for something special. I was waiting for that day to be like, okay, I'll arrive. I'm going to tell them I'm Muslim. And I told myself many times that. I'm like, okay, today I'm going to tell them because I wasn't seeing him every day. Like I was going to, like, you know what I mean? So every time I would postpone or procrastinate, it would go on for weeks or months before I see him again. I would say the same thing. Anyways, all that to say, and that's even for life. I learned that if it's a hard topic to talk about, if it's a hard conversation to have, it's even more important. You gotta force yourself, even though you don't want to do it. And that's my biggest thing. So, if you would have cut me off for X reason, it's better that it cuts you off now, and the healing can happen. And then after you have a genuine link, a genuine relationship after. Or maybe he doesn't cut you off and everything is okay, and we can start growing from there. You know what I mean? No matter what happens, there's a reason for it. So don't think of the worst possible like scenario. Again, everybody's different. I don't know everybody's parents. That's what for my situation. Maybe it's yours. Sometimes we make too much of a big deal about it. So have those hard conversation. And that said, have those hard conversations, but don't be hard-headed. Leave them space. Don't expect everybody to be like, accept it, yeah. My dad didn't necessarily accept it. But I didn't start saying, okay, why, and pressing his buttons. I told him, I understand your point of views. I understand why you're like that. I understand why you debate it like this, why you see this, why you do, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying he's racist, or he's this, or he's that. He's nothing as that. But having your kid being Muslim is something that I do not comprehend, because I do not have that mindset, because I'm Muslim, you know what I mean? And so you cannot put that on somebody else that do not understand. That's the biggest thing. First off the bat, I told how I approached it was saying, I do understand your vision of Islam. I do understand this and that and this and that. But I did my research, and it does it for me. It clicks for me. But I do understand, and I don't want to change your idea of it. But you need to respect that I am that. Get it? Like, that's how I approached it, and it worked for me. I'm not trying to push anything. I didn't trying to debate. I'm not trying to say he's wrong. That's not the discussion that you're trying to have right now. That's a discussion that you can be ongoing, and how you would act, and that's where it becomes more important. How you would act, it's how he's gonna see it, and that's how that is gonna influence people around you. Like, that wasn't just my dad. Like, a lot of people were like, why and this and that. Didn't really approve. Again, it's just ongoing. Give it time, but have those hard discussions so it can heal and so it can move forward. Yeah, the other ups and downs of after converting, that was the hardest thing for me after, because you start on a high and you're like, man, I'm committed, praying 5 times a day, I'm eating halal, doing all this stuff. Wow, amazing. And people hype you up. Community hypes you up, and it's okay. Like, it's super all right. But then after, like I told you if you watch the previous video, I said Islam sets you that base. That base I was talking about was that spiritual, that life base. But the hard part, it's the technical. Even though it's simple, as converts, or maybe not even as converts, as every Muslim, it's super hard to do it, even though it's simple. Simple doesn't mean easy. Simple is that it's black and white. There's not like, we gotta pray 5 times a day. There's no discussion about it being, is it 2, is it 1? Because I think, like, as an atheist, that's life. Life is always about debate. Am I doing good? Am I doing wrong? And that's what I mean by that base. So, going back to it, faith was going good. But the one thing we always forget was the baggage that you had before. Yes, technically you were reborn. You're cleansed of, like, you start from 0. Basically, you don't have sins or anything, which convert. But you still have a baggage from your past. in my past was pretty rock and roll, in the sense that, yeah, I'm not like anything crazy, but I still had a past, how I thought, how I would approach problems, just my character, how that incorporated myself in that character. Again, like I said, I'm really, let's say, addictive personality. Let's say if I do something, I go hard at it. But also, if I fall from that period of sprint, I fall down a lot higher, let's say. So that's exactly what happened to me. So basically, Islam just went super well. I was maybe on the streak for like 2-3 months. Again, that's not really long, but depending how you want to see it, it was long. But to an extent that you hit that first plateau, let's say, saying, okay, you pray, you have this thing dialed down. But then after I hit a plateau saying, okay, why am I praying? Why am I praying like this? Why I'm doing this and why I'm doing that? And that was the first plateau for me. Because maybe I should have learned that while growing into the prayer stages, but I didn't. I just, okay, let's learn the technical aspect of it. What do I need to say? How many prayers, how many rakas do I need to do, and stuff like that. Blah, 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 blah. But I forgot the whole, okay, why am I doing this? The learning, the background. So I had no foundation to put myself on if I, example, missed a prayer, or if I started to be like having questions. Because again, like I said, I don't have, as converts, we don't have a family to go to ask those questions. And then after, we're not necessarily comfortable enough to talk to the imams. How do I reach the imams if you're not in the community that much? And again, who can I talk? Who can I trust? Who, you know what I mean? Yes, I have that one friend, but I'm also really kept to myself. That's me. I can talk for myself. But as community here, like, we're really individualistic. I grew up alone. That's what I mean. My baggage. And I wasn't talking about my struggles or how I dealt with religion or this and that to anybody. Like, I kept it to myself. Okay, I'm struggling with that. How can I find what information? And most times I couldn't find the information, or it was really confusing, or I didn't understand it point blank, you know? And so that's when it just dropped, because my questions were getting more questions. I didn't have answers. It was kind of like I shot myself in the foot type scenario. And so that was my first, like, boom, my first crash. And like, it happened many times, that up and the down and the up and the down, because simply I wasn't asking questions. I wasn't in the community, and I wasn't letting myself, I wasn't committed. Committed is not the right word. I wasn't patient. Let's say patient. And so this is why I believe that I'm responsible for other converts. Other converts should be responsible for other converts. Because if I tell you, or I tell anybody, like, if somebody would have told me, oh, well, stay in the community is going to help you. A lot of people told me that. But my problem that I wasn't in the community was because I wasn't able to connect with others. Yes, like, they were brothers, super nice people, like, again, super nice, amazing people, but they have different cultures. As my culture, in different provinces, different states will have different cultures of whites and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily that I'm in and it's like, oh, okay, I have all the white people. Nah, like, it's not like that. But the more that you are in the community, the more that if somebody's similar to you, that you're able to help that person, or to just create a bond, just to have somebody. And so this is what I'm here to do this video about, because even though I cannot be in the community in person, at least I can do some, maybe some on the internet, and actually use that to maybe help somebody. Again, it's almost impossible over internet, because first of all, I'm not even enough into it, and sometimes it's more than just seeing a person talk. It's really like, okay, how to interact. Let's go out to eat, activities. And this was what I needed. I needed something outside of the messaging, no? Like, it's cool that I can pray with anybody, but afterwards, okay, are you gonna go run? Are you gonna go dirt biking? Are you gonna go hiking? Are you gonna go swimming? And I'm not just saying like swimming to have to at the pool, like actually distance swim. You know what I mean? I was in triathlon too at that time, so it's like nobody could relate to me doing endurance sports or working like crazy hours. Maybe there was too, because maybe I didn't have enough chance, or again, that's where patience come in, because maybe I didn't have enough patience to stay in the community in general and just trying to create bonds and stuff. But again, my baggage came that was really individualistic. But becoming into Islam and becoming Muslim, that mindset needs to change again. And it's nothing like it's wrong or not, it's just gonna help you, and it's gonna become, and that's one of the freaking thing that I love about it, because Islam is so community, it's helping each other out. It's insane. Like, I never felt it's my family, you know what I mean? It's crazy. So let that happen. Let that unfold. Don't jump to conclusions too fast. It's a new way, and it's not forget about yourself. Don't forget about you and who you are, but be patient. Let's just say that. Let's just be patient. Give yourself a chance. Don't overthink. Don't grow anxiety towards that. I totally forgot my second point. I'm so sorry. But let's say patience in community. Why did I forget? But going like up and down was really the family, the up and down. And to this day, I battle it. And this is why at the beginning I was saying everybody battles it. And you're always going to have it. And that's what I realized that really helped me. It's not about going fast, learning everything off the bat, watching videos every day, like, you know what I mean, 12 hours a day. Yes, this is good, because you need to learn off the bat. But during that time of the down, you're going to use that saying, man, before I was watching 12 hours of YouTube videos, and now I'm not. I'm a bad Muslim. Or not a bad Muslim, I'm doubting, like I'm bad for myself, like da-da-da-da-da. And those thoughts, you start losing control, and that's how it happened for me, spiraled down. But you cannot compare how you dealt with it at the beginning. Because at the beginning you had the hype first, but you also had a better foundation, to have the motivation, you had everything going for you. I'm not saying don't. Like, if you're able to watch it and educate yourself about Islam, go ahead. If you're able to do 12 hours, but it's really hard to sustain that. So don't use that against you. That's to be the first thing. That's not the first thing, but that's another thing. Not forget. Ride the wave. Ride the wave. And be aware that there's a wave. And that could be with anything in life. If it's your Islam is school, freaking work, could be anything. It's only now that I learned about, because your religion, your spirituality is so crucial that you need to be even more aware of it. Because if your spiritual state goes down, everything else goes down. So take care of that first before taking care of your other things around that's not as necessary. Because that was another part of it. Getting spiritually important again, because it's it wasn't a 1 day period, but how I lived without believing anything I was a kid, but like for 18 years without any beliefs, any foundation. And your mind adapts to it, does your own tricks. And I call it your toolbox. Basically, you have your toolbox in your head, how you deal with things. But now that you have Islam, now that you have a foundation that you can lean on, that you can use those tools, you need to protect that toolbox. Because if you lose that toolbox, again, you're going to have nothing. Because you're not in that state that you're not religious. You know what I mean? That you can use whatever tools, and let's say just alcohol or like drugs or raging on people. You can't use that anymore. So you have new tools. But you need to train your mind to use those tools. In that sense, that being patient, being forgiving. It's simple task, and maybe I'm not saying like, oh, like you totally forget about it, you become a bad person, but it's just an odd space of mind that you just, you know what I mean, just be aware of it, that, and give yourself a chance to it. Don't make you feel bad that you forgot prayer, that you don't act a certain way, a certain manner, or give yourself a chance, because I'm only technically 4 years old in my journey. So let somebody probably, like, people that were born into it, now they have 20 years of experience of ups and downs and this and that and situational awareness. Never feel bad about that. Embrace that. And I'm going to finish on that. The other thing that really hit home for me, I get the simplicity of it, that if somebody does bad to you, you need to forgive them no matter what. After they come say sorry, example, or they come ask for forgiveness, no matter what happens. And now I know it's in a lot of religion, let's say, and I cannot recall the story because there was a story about it. But there's a lot of stories in Islam that's about that. And no matter how much somebody hurts you, if they come back and seek forgiveness, you need to forgive them. And that's pretty intense. That, for me, that was just a lot of... And there was a specific story that I do not recall, but there's multiple stories like that just hit me. And another one, quickly, again, I'm not at all like in the state to educate anybody on that, so make your own research. But this was the story. It's in the Quran, that's I know. Again, don't quote me on that. But it's not like what you think or what you see is not always what it is or what it appears to be. And again, I do not know if it was a prophet or a messenger. But example, this little boy was following a prophet or that imam or that prophet or that messenger, and the prophet messenger destroyed the boat, and he destroyed the boat, and the kid that was with him always downing his work basically, and never understood. So after the third time destroying something, the little kid lost patience on him and told him, okay, well, you broke the boat, you killed somebody, and you destroyed a house with orphans lived in. Let's just say that. I know the orphan went well. And so some people, if you know what I'm talking about, please refer it in the comments or to help somebody, because I forgot about it. But he destroyed the wall. He only explained it afterwards, to the little kid. He broke that house or that wall for the orphans because there was a treasure hidden under it. But they had to destroy the house to get to the treasure because they didn't know there was a treasure. They lived in poverty, the orphans, sorry. And so he destroyed the house for them to find a treasure. Now they have the treasure, now they have money to be able to live well. You see? But the kid only saw the destroying the house. So these are all the stories, the little stories like that I found in it, that really have power and that hit home for me. And that's it. And I'll finish on that for the Muslim, sorry, losing my train of thoughts and my words. But think about you. A lot of times we think about how people are going to view us. Oh, it's too hard. and we can find a lot of excuses. And I want to make sure that if you come out with one thing, is that you got to do it for yourself. And it's easier said than done. Because a lot of time, I was thinking about, okay, how my parents going to see, how my friends going to think, how do I need to react, how am I going to do, how am I going to live my life if I need to pray 5 times a day, how am I going to react? You have all those unknowns that you cannot think of. Because at the end of the day, it's about you. Those people, you don't know if they're going to be there in a year or not. It's hard to say, but it's a reality. So all that to say, depending on your journey, where you're at, do it for yourself. Think about you. What's going to make you, what's going to help you. For me, to the simplest form, I'll finish on that again. It set me that base. That's the simplest way if I want to explain it to non-believers. Islam sets me that base, makes me something to fall on to if I'm having doubts or anything that I'm struggling with. So I hope this helps. Again, I'm sorry I missed my second point on my 3 points I wanted to do. I'll be better. Again, if you have more questions, if you have topics that you want me to talk about, you can always reach me, comment, and I hope you enjoyed it. Stay blessed, guys, and we'll talk soon.